Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another round of sound. This is the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown, and thanks for joining us. I'm Bob Pompiani. We have a lot to get into tonight, including Tiger Woods. We'll talk about the Pitt Panthers losing again to North Carolina and how they lost. But the #1 topic tonight on the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown will be the Steelers in Tampa, specifically Le'Veon Bell on the trade block right now. Here's your panel left to right on your television screen. We have Will Graves from the Associated Press, far left. In the middle, it's Ron Cook from the Cook and Joe Show and the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. In the middle, to the right, it's Tim Benz from TribLive.com, as well as Pittsburgh Steelers Radio Network. So we'll get right into this. Le'Veon Bell, it came out today, Adam Schefter, with a tweet that indicated that the Steelers pretty much done with this guy potentially, Ron Cook, and maybe looking to move him. So the question is, how complicated a deal will this be, and do you see it coming to a conclusion?
Well, it's very complicated because of that franchise tag situation. You also have to find a team that A, wants him, and B, has salary cap room. Man, I have mixed feelings about this whole thing. I hate to set a precedent where you give in to a disgruntled player and move him along. I think it really sets a bad precedent for down the road, and one that I can't ever remember the Steelers doing. But the other side of that is they have to be getting tired of Le'Veon. He continues not just to stay away, but like thumb his nose at his teammates. While they're at training camp, he's at a strip club. They tie Cleveland, he's at a dance club. They lose to Kansas City, he's jet skiing. He sends out emojis all the time about seemingly how happy they are that they're losing. I have mixed feelings about this. I don't think it's going to get done soon. I really don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of hurdles, Ron. You gave two of them, a team that needs a running back, a team that has the cap space. I'll add another one, a team that's not in the AFC, a team that you're not going to see on the schedule. I think that also is a circumstance that the Steelers have to keep in mind. And I'm sort of like what Ron is talking about here, not even so much from the we don't want to give in, because I don't know what else you can do. At some point or another, even if he doesn't report, what are the Steelers going to do? Keep him then at that point anyway and go through the circus again next year? No, they probably will not. But I'm also of the opinion that if they do turn things around, if they do get this sinking ship to steer clear of the rest of the iceberg, and they do manage to be even like 500-ish by the time he's ready to report or seemingly has to report, what if James Conner's hurt? Like, don't you want him back for the production at that point? And would he be willing to come back and be in shape for it at that point? This is a no-win situation for them now. If they can get anything better than the third-round compensatory pick, I bet they do it. I just don't know who that target team can be and how do they make it happen. I'm baffled about how this could come to fruition.
I mean, this seems like would be very out of character for the Steelers to sort of give in to a player like this. And to me, I mean, the thing that's always sort of struck me last year, and I've said this repeatedly, when he was out last year over the summer, when he was away from the team, every day he was on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, and here's how he's working out, and here's what he's doing to get ready. If you're a team looking at Le'Veon right now, what are you seeing? Pictures of him on a jet ski in TMZ, and he doesn't look, I mean, like he's a big dude, but he looks, I mean.
Yes, he does.
I don't want to say he looks fat, but he doesn't look like a guy who's going to be ready to play in 2 weeks.
He's not quite to the level of the stripper that he was tipping the first time around, but he doesn't look good.
I mean, if you're going to trade, if you're going to make that trade, if you're going to spend $10 million for whatever the prorated rest of the franchise tag would be, you want the guy that was an All-Pro last year. Are you going to get that guy? Are you going to settle for getting that guy in late October, early November? It seems just a very unusual. I think teams might call the Steelers about him if they just want to give him away, but it doesn't seem like it's a serious threat to me.
Plus, if you're another team, I mean, if you're looking at the same stuff that we're looking at, what you just cited there, Will, who would want to invest in that now? You'd have to come to a conclusion, too, that you're going to sign him long-term, and you may not know what those terms exactly are. I don't see this getting done. I think he'll be here eventually, and I think it'll go the way we probably thought it would, although it's getting tense, to say the least. The other thing that was tense this week is Antonio Brown. Will, you were there.
He was.
I think a lot of people were there and watching what he did. What was your take? You wrote a column about just how he appeared, defiant, agitated. He did appear that way. He looked like he was willing to apologize, but only so far.
It's getting really weird with him. I mean, look, he is a potential Hall of Fame player. I don't think anybody's arguing that. Nobody's arguing about about his work ethic. But some of this stuff, you know, he says, I'm here, but he wasn't. He says, you know, I have a great work ethic, which is true, but then he feels he's above the group. He said, well, I was upset, that's why I left after the game. Well, there were 52 other guys also upset after the game last week who stuck around. I don't know, man. It almost like they've enabled him a little too much, a little too long. You let him stay in a Nike bus off, you know, up at the top in the parking lot at training camp. It seems like they've had little too special rules for him, and I think that maybe he's got so far in that bubble now that it seems like he's almost unreachable by the team.
Enabled him a little too much? Are you kidding? And gave him a little too much rule? He just does whatever he wants up there, and that's a monster that Mike Tomlin has created. You know, it's so, I didn't mind his trade me tweet. I thought that was just a response to the former club employee. But to me, it looked like he was going through the motions sometimes during the game on Sunday. His body language was terrible, the sideline blow up. But then when you don't show up for work on Monday and there's seemingly very little discipline, what does that tell the other players? And, you know, he said he told Tomlin he had an excuse. Well, then why did Tomlin discipline him? It must not have been a very good excuse. I really thought he should have been suspended for the game Monday night. Sometimes short-term pain is worth long-term gain. You can't let this guy continue to do whatever he does.
Yeah, special treatment, to follow up on what you guys said. I mean, for crying out loud, his kids were on the practice field more than he was at Latrobe, running around to the end zone and whatnot. That's special treatment. Now, as far
Plus
as
his Instagram person, too.
Right, yeah,
there.
exactly.
All the social media team is
Well, the
right
social
there.
media thing is what drives me crazy about him and a lot of other guys, Lev Bell included, maybe even to a degree Bud Dupree on a much, much lesser version. But these guys don't understand that every time they tweet, every time they put something on Instagram, it's a press release. You know, they say they love social media because my fans can get the message unfiltered. Okay, then we're going to use it as media the same way you do. You're putting something out there. And Brown constantly gets mad at the media for reporting what he's putting out there. He's doing all this himself. We're not doing it to him. He says, oh, you guys keep wanting to put me in the spotlight. AB, trust me, I could use the day off. I mean, I'm not going to look for stuff. I know you're going to give me and everybody else. We know you're going to give it to us. We're not looking for it.
All right. Hey, we have plenty more, including a game to discuss. We're going to do that in our next segment, so stick around. But I want to tell you that ever since number one Cochran's formed Pittsburgh first ever Nissan Super Group, they did that recently, people have been calling them really the Titan of Nissan sales. That's quite fitting because right now you can get $7,500 in Nissan cash when you buy a 2018 Titan or a Titan XD at any number one Cochran Nissan store. Get 3 times the pricing power, 3 times the inventory, 3 locations that are very convenient to you: Monroeville, West Hills, or South Hills, or you could visit PittsburghNissan.com. That's Cochran, PittsburghNissan.com. Steelers and Tampa. What's going to happen tomorrow night? We'll explore next. One Cochran Sports Showdown is brought to you by number one Cochran. Go one better. And by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Have a greater hand in your health.